officially welcome UBS and to this morning's call and our awesome guest, Anfernee Chansamooth, who will be talking to us on the 5 tips to build a profitable business blog. And I'm super excited, Anfernee, because our journey or our friendship started on Facebook, what do you think, about 5 years ago?
Yeah, wow, I'm amazed that it was that long ago.
Yes. We sort of friended each other. I don't know how we got to, even connected in back then. But it was Sydney. I visited, and a couple of times we couldn't catch up, and then we started catching up for dinners every time I'd come to Sydney, and which has been awesome. And then you moved to Vietnam. Where are you location-wise now?
Right now, I'm back in Sydney. Vietnam didn't quite work out for me, so back here and just get busy doing stuff back in here, back in Sydney. But at some point, we do plan to move overseas. We're just not sure yet.
Yeah, love it. And thank you. I am coming to your wedding in April, so I'm super excited.
Yes, you are.
Congratulations and we've got quite a few people have said good morning. Good morning, Tracy, and there's lots of people on GoToWebinar. We are recording this, guys, so I'm sure Anfernee is going to share lots of tips that you may need to rewatch or re-listen, but make sure you've got your pen and paper, however you take notes out. So let me just do an official introduction for Anfernee. And you've now heard our friendship and our story, but I'll give you his official introduction and then we can get started. I can't wait. So Anfernee Chansamooth is a content marketing specialist helping time-poor business owners to outsource their content, build authentic brands, and grow their influence online. He's also the co-author of the #1 amazing best-selling author book, The Better Business Book, and I actually downloaded that the other day and had a bit of a read-through. And for those of you on live, here it is on the screen right here. So I don't know how you can get a copy, but I'm sure if you look it up, you'll find it. All right, Anfernee has trained over 1,000 business leaders across 14 countries, empowered over 500 students in Laos, Sydney and Toronto, has appeared on Network 10, in Anthill Magazine and at TEDx Telstra Sydney. He regularly writes for the Huffington Post. After a traumatic brain surgery experience in 2006, Anfernee packed up his wealth of experience in the corporate sector to pursue and create a life of meaningful contribution. He's travelled to over 34 countries and lived in Australia, Canada and Laos. Launched a program in Laos that empowered 200 students to speak up and take action to create positive change in their communities, and currently empowers entrepreneurs through his marketing service, e-courses, podcast, blog, and online community. So, wow, that's a lot. I didn't know that much about you. Now, I've definitely found extra things out. So please welcome and let's hear what you've got to say, Anfernee.
Awesome. Well, thank you for everyone for joining. I really wanted to make this session, all about you. Everyone that's joined on this and watching the recording. It's really about blogging. It's really interesting because I spent the last, I started blogging in 2009. I think that's when it was, way before WordPress was a thing, back when I think what my first blog was sitting on a site called blogger.com, which is still alive, but it's evolved over time. And back then it was more just personal blogging, right? So it's more about just sharing your day-to-day, and thoughts, and for me it was actually my instant therapist, and a way for me to channel what was going on in my head without paying the expensive therapist fees.
I agree.
And that's what it became. And
I was just going to say,
yeah, I mean, and over time, I've seen blogging evolve, right? And it's gone through different stages until now. And one of the questions, a lot of, especially since social media took off, right, in the last, let's say 7 or 8 years, and a lot of people have started to look at social media as the place to promote a business, right? And you could really do well with a Facebook page or a Facebook group, like obviously Natasa has done. But here's the thing, right? Like it's at the core of any marketing strategy, you need to be directing people to a central place to find out about your products and service. We're talking about blogging for business. We're not talking about blogging to, for therapy, which is what I'm referring to. But so the blog still has relevance today, and that's why I'm really passionate about sharing this, because I work with clients on really helping them make their blogs profitable. So when they come to me, it's more about, oh no, I've been trying this blogging thing, it's not working. They might put up a few posts and articles, and then they're wondering, why am I getting crickets, and how come no one's buying my stuff? And it's because they're missing out, a lot of the foundational elements that are required to make your blog work for you. And that's what I wanted to share today with Natasa.
Awesome, awesome. And I think we have a little bit of a delay, Anfernee, so when I start talking, you don't hear me for about a few seconds, so please excuse that, guys, because, we're not that far away, but it's happening today.
Cool. So we're going to start with a couple of things that we want to go through on this particular session. First thing I'll share is just really the top 5 myths, if you will, about blogging for business. And as I can't see the Facebook Live comments or the webinar comments, so if anyone's asking questions, I'd love to address your questions, and Natasa can bring them up at the end of this. But let's get into really myths around blogging. First one that I'm hearing a lot right now, because a question came up the other day. Someone on my channel asked, well, now the focus seems to be on video, right? I mean, we're live streaming right now. Facebook Live is hot. You've got Snapchat. You had Periscope for a while, and everyone, certainly the influencers out there, the Gary Vaynerchuks of the world, and these people are pushing video, right? YouTube has been, just massive in the last 10 years or whatever it has been. And the question is, well, is blogging still relevant, like written blogging? Why would I bother doing that when I can just record a video and put it out through Facebook or wherever it may be? My response to that is, and this is a myth is that people don't read anymore. Now, let me ask you guys listening to this, are you still reading stuff? Like, do you download ebooks? Do you, read blog posts and articles? Do you go to the bookshop and buy a book and read that whilst you're on holidays or on the plane, right? Most people will answer yes, right? If you're an exception to that, let me know right now. Natasa, do you still read stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. I hate video because that takes away too much time. I want to scan stuff, and I want to do it a lot more rapidly. So yeah, absolutely.
And that's a really great point there, right? People want to be able to scan, and it's not a one-size-fits-all. I actually, the reality is that the most successful content marketers are the ones that are cross-platform, right? Cross multiple ways of presenting that content to their audience, right? We're talking video here. We could easily turn this into an article, have it transcribed, and then turn it into an article, and then have someone turn it into images and push it out through social media, onto Pinterest, onto Instagram, right? There's ways to repurpose your content. And I know Natasa's awesome at doing that, and just follow her feeds and you'll see how she does that. And that's why right now people do still read in masses. There was a report that came out, or an article last week or a couple of weeks ago, which the statistic right now is that traditional paperback book sales are on the climb, on the rise in the last 12 months, and ebooks are declining in terms of sales, right? So what does that say? Okay, and so people are still wanting, I think we're just so inundated by digital that we're missing, or we want the real material, the physical experience, right? And so keep that in mind, guys. Now come back to the blogging. Yes, people still read, still relevant. There are other benefits to it. Like you can actually leverage search engine optimization, right? By having content sitting on your website, and the more content you create, right, the more Google will be able to find and allow people to find your content. Okay, if you certainly you can optimize YouTube videos and that kind of thing, but there is still a place and time for writing or written blog content. Okay, that's myth number one. Myth number two is that and I hear this one a lot, is I can't prove the ROI of content marketing. I can't prove the return on investment on my blog, right? It's like I'm putting all these you know, I'm writing articles, I'm publishing every week or every month or whatever it may be, but I don't know if it's working for me, okay? That's a myth, right? So anything you do online is trackable and traceable, okay? There's this wonderful tool, and I'm going to get to tools in a moment, but there's a wonderful tool that we can all use. It's free. It's called Google Analytics, and that's something that allows you to, you know, quickly set up, attach it to your blog and your website, and allows you to see, you know, exactly how many people are visiting your site, you know, each day, each month, each year, and actually you can actually track it down to the level of each particular blog post, each specific blog post. You can actually see what are your top 3 highest performing blog posts or articles, and then, you know, if you have that information at your disposal, you can then create more of that type of content because you know that's what your readers are wanting. Okay, so you definitely can prove it. There are also tools like, you know, I'll use Lead Pages as an example, where you can create, you know, landing pages and these sort of things. And we'll talk about in a moment. We'll talk about the funnel, what's called a sales funnel. But you are able to track how many people are signing up to your mailing list. Okay, that's a number or a metric that you can measure. Okay, and if your blog needs to be moving people down a path. It shouldn't just be here's content for the sake of content, but it needs to actually drive business results, right? So myth number 2, I can't prove the ROI of content marketing. I'm going to challenge that and say that's definitely a myth. You can do it. Okay. Myth number 3, yeah. Any thoughts on that? I know you're big on numbers, Natasha. Like, any comments on that one?
Yeah, I agree, and yeah, always having like a call to action at the bottom. I always put mine in the PS because I do like it to stay clean without too many, you know, just like do this, do that. I prefer to do that, but yeah, absolutely, you can track everything. And what you said before, you know, how you can repurpose it. Like, I don't know if you guys noticed, but last week I was doing live streams Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and they were all just delivery of a content of a blog that I had written, and I will continue to do that this week. So actually, what it gave me is ammunition to have a really awesome live stream versus one just off the cuff, because I had already written a blog and then delivered it live as a presentation, which meant it had structure and everything, and people were getting a lot out of those live streams. So yeah, totally agree.
Cool. Thank you. So we're going to move to myth number 3, which is that myth number 3 is you can't outsource your content. And I hear this one. This is one of the so for those of you who aren't clear what I do, I actually have a service, which is a content writing and publishing service. So I've got a team that does that for my clients, and they basically they come to me and they go, and I know I got to do this blog thing. I don't want to do it, or I don't particularly love writing. So can you take care of it? But one of the concerns that comes up is, well, if I give it to someone else to take care of, am I going to lose the voice and the tone and the message, right? And that's very important. Okay, in terms of, if we talk about branding, you want to make sure that if you're giving it to a copywriter or someone else to take care of you know, your content for you, you want to make sure it stays on brand. And that's a concern, right? So, you know, in response to that, we're doing it. I've outsourced my writing to others before. There are, you know, here's a stat for you, or an interesting fact. A lot of the high, you know, now these certainly aren't the people who do Natasha's retreats and produce books through her, but a lot of the big, you know, big name writers that we know of actually have their books ghostwritten. They're actually written by the author, not written by the expert themselves. They actually hire someone else to write the book for them in their voice, right? So ghostwriting has been around for a long time. This is not new, okay? And so blog posts and blog content can be outsourced as well, but you want to make sure that you are clear on your brand and your voice, and you want to make sure that you test your copywriters and whatnot to make sure that whatever they're doing for you is actually reflecting your voice. Something that I do with my clients is we actually do a review process. They will review the drafts that my team put together, and then they will tweak it to make it sound like them. Okay, because it is their voice, right? That's just an example, but the myth here is that you can't outsource your content. A lot of agencies, a lot of businesses are doing that already. And you'd be surprised if I gave you the behind the scenes of who's doing what. But look, if you love writing, do it. Okay, if that's your thing, do it. 100%, I would go there. But if you just don't have time, and maybe you love writing, but you're better placed as a business owner doing other things like sales, working with your clients, working with your team, right? Then really, consider whether or not it's good for you to leverage your business through outsourcing. Okay.
I've got a question.
Okay. Are we cool with that one?
Yes. A question from Jill. My concern would be having the necessary expertise more than voice or brand. How is this maintained or managed? Great question. For that one, we have one of the clients that we work with is based in Melbourne, and he has his business is they do digging. They do like construction work, like they dig underground when someone wants to build a house or councils want to replace bitumen on a road, and so that's a very technical type of business. Like he's the expert, his team knows their stuff. My writers, we're not technical that way. We could never do that work for him. So the type of content we work on with him is more around. The question I asked him was this: I said, "That's great. You're the expert. You're technical. We are not. But your audience, the people who want to buy your service or potentially will buy your service, do they need to be technical? Are they looking for?" when they come and read your articles and whatnot, are they wanting to know all about the drill bits and all the different things that and all the technology? Like, is that going to help them understand what they're actually buying and give them confidence, or is that just going to overwhelm them because you've just got too technical, right? And his answer was actually yes. I've got enough of the technical stuff already, and I write that myself, or my team writes it. But what we want you to do is actually to write the stuff that actually brings out the leads and prospects to our business. Okay, and so that's how we work with those clients. Now, if you're a scientific writer, then that's your thing. You're right. The person who asked the question, you probably don't want to outsource that. Okay, it really comes down to the purpose and intent of what you want to do with your content. Cool. Yeah, I agree, and I think getting technical can be overwhelming and confusing for people, and that's not really how you bring people in. You want to keep it more high level. Just a couple of other comments, and we'll keep going because whatever extra questions come up, we can always go into the live stream comments and answer them individually. But Amy's just commented, "Oh my goodness, Anfernee, I love the idea of blogging for other people. I used to write content for a business I work for and love the challenge of writing in the tone and language of the CEO. I absolutely love finding someone's voice and writing for them." So there's obviously a lot of people like Amy out there. And there's just Tash is saying, how much would a blog written by a ghostwriter cost on average?
That's how long is a piece of string question, Amy. It really depends on the level of experience of the writer, and how much time they spend with the client to really understand the voice, the thought process. I've worked from anything from $20 a blog post from someone in India or the Philippines to all the way up to $1,000 per blog post, because it just depends on the quality of work output that the client wants, and also obviously the amount of written words. Do they want a 20,000 word guide, ebook guide, or is it just one article which is 2,000 words versus 500 words? It really depends. So it varies. There's a range, and I'm going to say for the Australian market and what I've been doing for the last 2 years, it kind of ranges between something around probably $60 for a newbie who's starting out, all the way through to what $500 to $1,000 a blog post. It really depends.
Yeah, awesome. Keep going.
Okay, cool. So we've had number 4 in terms of top 5 myths. Number 4 is that you can wing it. And I'm going to tell you guys, you cannot wing it when it comes to writing your blog content. It's a lot of that's going to be the trial and error method. And I would suggest to you that instead of trial and error on what you're writing, trial and error on how you promote your content, all right? And we're going to get back to myth number 5 in a moment, but you want to get clear on who your audience is, you know, what their challenges are, what are the questions that they're always asking in their minds, and they're always asking you, right, as the business owner, and the service you provide, and then you want to present content which speaks to that. Okay, so we'll use an example. Natasha provides a retreat service to help business or entrepreneurs and business owners publish their first, you know, their books and whatnot. Take the knowledge out of their head and turn it into, well, that's content. That's content marketing as well. It's as a book format. So the blog post that I would suggest that Natasha writes would be something around, you know, the benefits of publishing a book as a business owner or as a business, right? What are the benefits there? You know, how can you leverage another content piece? Could be how do you leverage a book to generate sales, you know, for your business, or speaking opportunities, or whatever it may be, right? So you really think about what is the end result that your client's trying to achieve, and then you create content which basically helps answer those questions for them. Okay, and that's going to place you as the subject matter expert or the expert, and that's going to build trust and credibility for your brand and attract more people to you who are looking for your guidance and products and services. Okay, now coming back to the statement and the myth, you cannot wing it, right? The myth is you can wing it. I'm saying you can't. You want to have a strategy around how you do your content, okay, and then what you're putting out there. Okay, a question for you, Natasha. You just said you smashed out 9 blog posts the other day. Did you just sit there and just like randomly come up with ideas, or where did those ideas come from for those blog posts?
I just wanted to get back into it. I didn't have too huge a strategy, but always when I'm writing them, I'm in the shoes of the people who follow me and the people who end up working with me. So I kind of address those problems and weave into it. Sometimes it doesn't have to be obvious. Yeah, this is all about just write a book, write a book, write a book. It's just would become a bit boring for me to just keep spinning it in that way. I want to sort of grab one idea and put it onto how it would relate to what my core message is, and get it out there. But sometimes, like, I get ideas and I'll put them in my notes in my phone, so that I can write about it later, because sometimes when you sit down you go, okay, my head is empty, I have got nothing's coming out. And I sometimes revisit some old seminar notes, stuff I've learned, stuff I've noted. Like, I have a section in my office where I keep all of that, and I just read through some, even just quotes and things that might inspire me to write something, just to get the ideas flowing. And then I'll go, okay, once I go, that's it. I can start, once I have the idea, the blog's written in like 15 minutes.
Love it. I love it. And you nailed it, hit the nail on the coffin when you said that I'm writing with my audience in mind.
Yeah.
Right? So you're always thinking about what's going on in their heads, and then you write from that place. I also love that you said that you don't write the same thing over and over again and just keep trying to spin that around, you know, publishing a book, because that becomes tired and old for you as well, being the one who's writing it. So here's another myth, you know, which wasn't the one I was going to share, but coming up now, so which is great, is that you have to always write about your business or about your product or your service, and that's actually not true. You actually want to have a mix between those type of content, which is educational and educates your market and helps them move, you know, closer to your sale or your product, but you also want to have content which demonstrates who you are as a business owner or as a brand, right? You want to have you know, engaging pieces, entertaining pieces that, you know, differentiates you from every other competitor in your space. Okay, now I had a client who's a graphic designer, and she asked me this question because I was pushing her and going, you know, you did this whole, like, she did this Whole30 challenge, which is all about eating whole foods and getting healthier that way. I'm like, you're the only graphic designer that I know who does that stuff. You're also a certified yoga instructor. You need to share that stuff on your blog. Like, you need people to know that stuff, because those people who are doing the Whole30 challenge, who also love yoga and spirituality, they want to work with the graphic designer who also does that stuff, right? Because that's a connection point. Yeah, same values, right? Natasha loves to travel. Like, she's always sharing, I'm going on holidays here with my kids and whatever. Like, that's beautiful stuff that you want to share, okay? And so that's another one there. You don't always have to write about your business, write about your experience and the type of experiences you're living as the entrepreneur, because that's going to resonate with your audience, all right? And the last myth here is that if you build it, they will come. Okay, and people think, I'm just going to put up a blog, I'll put 100 articles up, and all of a sudden I'm going to get magic happen. No, it doesn't work that way. There's a lot of the content marketing experts, if you ever listen to their stuff or read their blogs, what they advocate is, and I agree with this, is 20% creating the content, 80% promoting it. Okay, and this comes down to how you budget your advertising dollars or marketing dollars as well. I'd say 20% of your marketing budget, put it into content creation, and then the rest of it, 80%, is actually into promoting it. Okay, whether that's through Facebook ads to promote that content, hosting webinars and paying for the webinar software, whatever it may be, partnerships in different ways. You want to shift the way you think in terms of, a lot of people spend like 80% on the blog post itself, and they get beautiful graphic design done, and they get all these things done, and always like making the website pretty. And I'm going, that's cool, but that's not the content that stands out. Is usually the content that's being promoted more often by the content creator. Okay, and that's something you want to keep in mind. Okay.
If I can add something,
yes.
Because we've done a lot of sponsored blogs to build an audience. It has worked really well with our Facebook ads. Before we start promoting our event, our physical event, my guy would run a sponsored blog, put a tracking on the people who are interested in reading it and all that, and then retarget those, and then they end up buying tickets into the event. So that's been one strategy that we used last year that worked really well.
And that's a beautiful strategy. I love that. I use that with my clients as well. You want to, here's the thing, people are on Facebook or Instagram, they're there not to buy products and services predominantly, right? Most people are there to be social, to connect with their friends, whatever else, or to learn things. If they're subscribing, if they're following your page, they obviously want to learn things, but they don't want to be pitched things all the time. They don't want to see an ad popping up going, buy my thing, right? But if you place a sponsored post like Natasha's doing that says, hey, here's a piece of content that's going to educate you, about something that's going to help your business, they're more receptive to that. They're going to click through, read your content, and then you can do something like retargeting or put your call to action, where you should be putting a call to action on the bottom of that anyway, to then move them to the next stage, right? That works really well.
Yeah, awesome.
Okay, how are we going for time, Natasha?
Well, it's 2 minutes to 9:30. So have you got any quick hacks, quick tips that you can share before we give the guys? Well, you've got their free blogging for profit canvas that they can download. Let me show it to the guys on Facebook Live. Anfrenee's got it. simplecreativemarketing.com/canvas. We'll pop it up in the comments when we get off the live stream as well for you guys, and those that don't go to webinar can note it down themselves. But give us maybe some quick hacks around, now that I'm fresh back into blogging, what's some quick tips that you can give me your top 3 quick.
Okay. Let me the canvas, first of all, get the canvas, because what that is basically a one-page visual tool to allow you to get clear and strategic about your blogging. Okay, so that's something I've created for you guys to use, and that will just help you, literally 10 minutes of your time going through that canvas will save you 10 hours a week trying to create content that doesn't work for you.
Okay,
right?
I'm downloading
it. Awesome. Now, okay. Let me share 3 tools, right? In terms of hacks, 3 tools that every content marketer needs to be using. One, you want to use a tool called, it's created by a company called CoSchedule, and the tool is called the Headline Analyzer. Spelled with a Z, because it's an American website. Go there, it's free to use. Every blog post you write, you need to run your headline through this tool, because then it will give you a rating out of 100. What you're going for is 70 plus, right? The thing you see on the screen turns green when it hits 70, and it's telling you, and it gives you ideas on how do you make your headlines pop, and therefore, and this is good for you know, for authors who are writing book posts and trying to work out the title for their books as well. It's a great tool to use because it helps you work out, you know, what kind of headlines are going to make people read. If people don't like your headlines or attracted to your headlines, they're never going to click through to read your content, no matter how great your content is. All right. Tip number one. Tool number two I suggest you use is a common question that comes up for me is, you know, what platform should I use to blog on? I'm a big advocate for WordPress. Okay. That's, you know, and within that, the reason why is because you can install some really cool plugins that will allow you to do some great things with your blog. The one plugin that I'm going to recommend everyone install is called Yoast. It's like Toast with a Y, Yoast SEO plugin. Okay, it's free to use. It's a search engine optimization plugin, and it's just a really quick and easy way to help you optimize your blog content for search engines. Okay, and there's a video I can share. You know, if you you know, just message me on my page. I can give you links to all these things. Actually, well, I'll shoot them to you afterwards, Natasha, and you can share them out. But you can definitely, that's one I'd recommend you do because you want to make sure that all your content is optimized for search engines. All right, don't like coming back to that. If you build it, if they will come thing, don't do that. What you want to do is if you build it and optimize it, then they will come. Okay, so that's how it works. And the third tool, I mentioned it before, is Google Analytics. You want that installed. It's free to go create an account. If you've got a Gmail account, you just go to Google Analytics, set that up. You take a piece of code from Google Analytics and you put it into your blog. Now, again, this is why I recommend WordPress because it's easy to do this. And I'm creating tutorials on how to do this anyway if you need that help. But you want to be able to measure what's going on with your content and your blog. If you're not measuring, then you're really, you know, out there creating things and you don't know if it's working. Like, how do you know it's working if you're not tracking it? Yeah. Okay. And now, someone asked on UBS earlier. They asked about how do you promote? Where should I be promoting, you know, my blog content? Let me give you a couple of suggestions. First of all, you need to have a tool. Like, there's a couple of tools out there, but I'll off the top of my head, Buffer is one that you can use. It's a tool that helps you basically take your content and then distribute it to multiple social media platforms like Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. Quick and easy, it's one click, and you can basically schedule it out to go out to different channels. Okay, that's one way to kind of automate your promotion of your blog content. There's another tool I mentioned already, which is called CoSchedule. Does the same thing, but it's a bit more involved. And CoSchedule is not just promotion of the content, but it's also an editorial system. So it allows you to create a calendar of what content you're going to be using on what days, which is really nice. That's another tool I'd recommend that people look at as well, just to get you into more of a proactive state of creating content rather than reactive. Okay, quick tips on how to where to promote your content. One tool I'm really looking heavily at and investing in right now is called Quora, which is spelled Quora. All right, it's a Q&A, question and answer website. It's used by a gazillion people, and that's a really great place to it's two places. One place, it's a good place to do research around what topics people are asking about, what questions your audience are asking. It's also another place to actually place your, so you can find someone asking a question about your, that you can answer. Say you're a confidence coach and or public speaking coach, you can go and search for people who are asking questions around confidence or how to be better at public speaking. You could then reply to those questions and then put a link to your blog, all right? And that will drive traffic back to your blog. Free traffic, doesn't cost you anything, but it does take you, time. So you want to invest time on doing that on a consistent basis. Right, so Quora, check that out. Another place which is often forgotten is when you're creating blog content is to actually share it in your newsletter, share it in your email list, send it out to the people who are already following you. Okay, a lot of people go to social media, but they neglect the email list. And if you don't have an email list, you need to start building one. Right, like it's almost like I can't believe I'm even saying this in 2017, but a lot of business owners neglect it, and you want to have it. So you've been building a list for a while. How has that helped your business, Natasha?
Oh yeah, it's just one of the big marketing strategies to keep in touch with people, but I have so many people that come back and or follow me for 2 or 3, sometimes 5 years, and then they turn up and become a client because I've stayed top of mind with them the whole time and have been consistent. So the key in all of this is to be consistent, to keep doing it, to turn up, to add value. And as people start to follow and read it and read it and read it, and they go, okay, well, there's no one else I've been kind of getting this awesome information from, and they seem to be the best at what they're doing. So I'm going to go and, look for them to help me solve my problem, and therefore they become a client. So I'm also a big believer, just that consistency muscle to be flexed all the time, because otherwise, if you're here and then you're not here for a while, and then you turn up and you're hot and heavy and you go away, it makes people feel uncertain in your behavior. Therefore, people will not feel that you're going to look after them when they work with you if you're inconsistent. So it's all about how you behave and you turn up.
Yeah, love it. I'm going to add the final hack before we end this, but I'm going to say if you have an email list, write this down. This question, all right? You want to send an email to your followers, your email subscribers, but also if you don't have an email list, you want to do this on social media, ask this question. You say, I'm about to write a series of blog content to help you grow your business or whatever it is your clients are trying to achieve. What topics do you want me to talk about or write about in my blog? Okay, so you're going to do a bit of research and have them tell you what they want you to write. See, so this is no guessing. This is them telling you, I want you to write these things and answer these questions. Another way you can do it is, this is a common question you probably see everywhere, is, what's the biggest challenge you're facing right now that you want some support with? Okay, or another way I frame this question is, yeah, if you could have me for 30 minutes one-on-one, one-on-one on Skype or in a room together, what would you ask me?
Yeah.
Okay. And just get that feedback from your groups, from your email list, from your subscribers, whoever they are, and then start creating that content for them. Okay, because then if those people who respond, they're very receptive, which is good because it means that they're interested and they want help. So then when you reply to them a week later or 2 weeks later with the content that has been written, because you've answered their question, they're going to be really grateful. They're like, wow, you actually answered my question. And then you can ask them to share it, and they're more likely to share it because they're actually, you've helped them out. So it's you adding value to those relationships. Okay, but that's the last tip I'm going to give to you. If there are any other questions, I will go through the list of questions and I will respond to them directly, on Facebook Live or wherever they are.
Yeah, there was a couple that we missed before, but that's okay because these tips and hacks were really useful. So yeah, we'll individually answer those questions on the post. But yeah, absolutely. Everything you've said today is so valid. So spot on, and I love that last comment, the last question that you said. I'm definitely going to send that out because sometimes I could sit here for, I reckon, 30 minutes trying to come up with an idea to get me going, because as I said, it takes me 15 minutes to write one 500-600 word blog. But yeah, I could be sitting here going, what's the cool thing that I'm going to write about? And if someone gives me just a list of topics, yesterday I came up with an awesome one that I can't wait to write. Then I can just off I go. So that was my hero comment of the conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, can I add to that just quickly? If you have a Facebook group like Natasha has, you can create a poll in that group. Here are three headlines. Give me a vote group. On which one is the one that you want to read the most. Okay, and that way you can actually prioritize what content you create first and in which order, right? Because you want to create the content that's hot right now for your audience.
Love it. Love it. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Anfernee, for being our guest today. I think that was super valuable. I think we could sit here and talk for a very long time because this topic has so many intricate details, and this is obviously why you do this as your business, because people, need to learn from experts. The other day I committed to a program that's going to show me the shortcut of doing a super awesome business strategy, and I'm now the student, and I'm like, I've got scheduled 4 hours every day for study time, and I'm like, I have to follow what they say, otherwise I'm not going to get the result. You can't learn just a high level teaching. You got to go deep into all of these strategies, which is what you help people do. So I love it. So let me tell the guys before we get off this, who's coming on next week. So I'm just going to move video to the side so I can show you who our next guest is. And this particular guest was introduced to me by Anfernee, funny enough, about a month or so ago, and he interviewed me for his awesome podcast. But this is George Samuels, and he will be presenting Secrets to Building a Powerful Community. Actually, I came up with that title myself. I haven't even asked him yet, but he is the community and tribe building guy because I got to know him, last week actually we did the interview on me and we chatted. And I think, you guys belong to the UBS community and the tribe that we have built there for you guys. And I think it's important that everyone builds their own community and tribe of followers. So we're going to hear from George and his awesomeness. But as I like to finish on a quote, this is my quote for today, being relevant to the topic. And that blogging is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It is more like work for free for a long time and then reap your reward type of plan, which I believe is so true, and obviously having a strategy. So Anfernee, say bye to the live streamers. And I've got one. What are your non-Facebook contact details? All right, hang on. What are your non-Facebook contact details? Do you have like an email or something? Because some people are not on Facebook.
Yep, I just typed it into the chat. It's hello@simplecreativemarketing.com.
Okay, so it's in the chat box. Yes. Okay, so hello@simplecreativemarketing.com. There we go. We've captured it. Awesome. I'm going to get off this live stream. Have a great day, you guys, and we'll connect again next Monday. And thanks for sticking it out for an extra 12 minutes after our finish time. Bye. All right. And thanks, Anfernee. I'll just get us have a great week, and I look forward to the wedding. See ya.
All right. See you guys. Thanks, Nat.